Welcome everyone. I'm here today with Deena Naidu. Naidu is the chief instructor and founder of Goshin Kan Karate, a form of traditional martial arts that has been developed from the original forms of Goju-ryu and Goju-kai martial arts schools of Japan. Naidu is the sixth graduate of Goshin Yamaguchi Sensei's Japan's Karate College. Goshin Yamaguchi Sensei was the founder of Goju-kai and was a karate master who believed in truth. A renowned Japanese master having achieved the highest grade worldwide. We are here today to talk with Naidu and to gain an insight into Kancho's life and the experiences and paths that have led him to where he is today. Kancho, thank you so much for allowing us to do this and for sharing your life experiences and goals with our viewers. Can I start by asking you a two-part question? Firstly, to explain your title of Kancho to those of our viewers who may not understand why we call you that. And secondly, to explain the difference between traditional karate and the current other forms.
Absolutely, I'm happy to answer that. Well, Kancho means chief instructor. I think it is a humble title for teachers that are running organizations. So it doesn't depict any grade or level. It is just to say chief instructor or chief teacher of an organization.
Fantastic. And can you elaborate on the traditional martial arts as opposed to the other forms that are currently in?
Well, originally martial arts, when it was created, was basically for self-preservation, self-defense. And over the period of time, martial arts has changed. And as we see today, many organizations are running martial arts as sports. And of course, Goshin Kan Karate does not do that. We don't participate in sport as we feel that the traditional martial arts works for people in terms of self-defense. It helps people to develop character, and it makes the human being develop holistically.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. Kancho, can I ask you to go back to the very beginning of your life, to the point where a little baby boy was brought into this world? Can you share with our viewers the story of how Deena Naidu entered this life?
I was born on the 16th of January 1949. During that period of time, there was a riot in South Africa. A very traumatic situation for all people in South Africa. Dad was a police officer, and he had to be called on in emergencies. And I was 3 months premature, and Mum gave birth to me with no one to really take care of me at that time. And so my adopted grandmother was kind enough to send her driver across and get Mum, and she had to hide in the back of the car, a chauffeur-driven car, and taken to my adopted grandmother's place. South Africa, as you know, the violence has been, up to present day today, it's quite bad, quite serious. And those days it was even worse.
Wow. So from the very beginning of your life, you've faced some battles to overcome, with just being 3 months premature. Back in those days, with the medical technology not as good as it is today,
Yeah.
there was a battle for you to sort of overcome from the beginning of your life. You had to fight to survive. Would it be fair to say that you were a little different from the start?
Yeah, I would say, but I would say really, to be honest with you, Bible, I think it's been a blessing. Being born in an environment such as that, I've learned to develop great skills in terms of defense, and it's made me more aware about many things. So I think I've been lucky, although one would see violence as not good, but I think for my situation it was good, and it helped me develop to become the type of martial arts where I practice with seriousness. I think if I lived in a situation where everything was calm and harmonious, I wouldn't have had that feeling to work hard and really, you know, use the techniques to protect myself and develop the techniques to protect myself. It was survival. And I think if I hadn't done martial arts a serious way, I would have been dead a long time ago.
So take us, if we can, take us back to before you started martial arts. Take us back to the first 10 years of your life.
Right.
What school you sort of attended? Any memories of growing up in that first 10 years in South Africa that you sort of look back on with happiness, and then some that you may look back at in the first 10 years of your life with sadness? What was life like for a 10-year-old child in South Africa?
Well, I think, you know, it has its pluses though, you know. They say joy is between two sorrows, but I think we had lots and lots of sorrows, and the joyous moments were really happy ones. We were below middle class in terms of family. Dad was just an ordinary police officer, and as you know, police officers don't get well paid, and in those days it was worse than it is. We had experiences like, you know, which I really don't want to say on camera, but situations of, you know, where people were killed brutally, and people were unsafe, you know, traveling on the bus was a problem, traveling on trains were a problem, even traveling in cars was a problem. So, you know, people were always armed with, young people were armed with pocket knives and, you know, guns and so on and so forth. So, it was a tough life, but there was a family unity amongst everybody, you know. There's an African saying, it takes a village to raise a child. So, unlike today where everybody is living separately, South Africa, you know, we could go into anybody's home and have a meal without hesitation. You know, people would call us in and have a meal at any time. And, you know, neighbors' children were like the sons and daughters of my parents, and we were like the sons and daughters of the neighbors' kids, and we interacted and we played together, and we really lived a harmonious life. Although there was this violent aspect, there was also this harmony and this peace.
So at the tender age of 11, you decided to start martial arts training. Probably not as an activity of leisure as a lot of Australian kids may be doing martial arts to develop health and fitness and discipline. It was more of a survival need possibly for yourself, to learn to protect yourself growing up in that atmosphere of violence. Can you share with us a little about the early martial arts school that you attended?
Right. There was a police officer living 2 doors away from us, and he was a champion wrestler. You know, he invited the neighborhood kids to come along and learn wrestling. That was the first martial arts that I did, and it was terrific. It was absolutely terrific. And of course, later on, my uncle was a champion boxer, and he gave me ideas about boxing, and Dad too had some experience in boxing, and we got lessons from Dad as well. So I think the karate started much later, but the wrestling and the boxing, I think, played a very important part in my life.
Gotcha. Can we go into the early teens of your life? Did you experience any bullying? And if you did you have any advice for the children of today?
Yeah, well, you know, I did. Like all schools, you know, every school has bullies, and we had, I'll tell you of one incident. We had a bully in school, and his name was Sabu, and he was 17 years old in primary school. In those days, you know, people, if they failed, they would have to repeat their studies and so on. And this guy was continuously repeating his school, and he was probably 17 years old. I was between 10 and 11 years old, or younger, I think 9 or 10 years old. And so Sabu decided one day to give me a thrashing, and he did. He beat me up black and blue, and I was very emotional and really upset and traumatized by this. Anyway, my martial arts started, and I became stronger and so on. And many years later, having practiced karate for a while, I was pretty confident. And one night, I think I was probably about 18 or 19 years old, and I met Sabu on a road at about 10, 11 o'clock at night, or probably a little later, and he was going to attack me again for the second time. And my martial arts worked. And it was my first experience of martial arts that if you train with that intensity, you can protect yourself. I think it is very essential that all young people do martial arts, because in this day we need to learn to protect ourselves. You look around and life is getting tougher, and nobody's going to come to your rescue. You need to learn this art so you can protect yourself, and I believe the way to go is through traditional karate.
And then you continued, and then you opened up your own dojo in South Africa, and eventually that led you to Japan. Can you share with us what circumstances came to make you want to go to Japan and further your training?
Right. I was running a school in South Africa. It was called Hirosaki Karatedo. We created the school, it was a women's club actually. Hirosaki was a women's club. And they asked me if I could teach them self-defense. So I did, and I would teach them quite regularly. And then I asked them one day, and I said, "Look, can I use that name, Hirosaki, for my karate school?" And of course, it was agreed upon. So we started Hirosaki Karatedo. I ran it for a number of years. And I felt I didn't know enough, and I needed to meet a real master. So off I went to Japan and to Goldencenser school. And when I got to Japan, Goldencenser had welcomed me. He made me feel really welcome in the college. But the only thing is, he didn't recognize the belt I had at that time. And he asked me if I could start again, because the system that I practiced karate was very different to what Goldencenser was teaching. The style that I learned was called Budokan, which was a South African style. And it didn't belong to the 5 major styles in Japan at that time. So I started again as a beginner, which I was happy to do. And I graduated after 7 months at the college. So I stayed in Japan for about a year, and then I traveled back in 1979, and every 2 years since I've been to Japan.
Wow, fantastic. How intense was the training in Japan under Goldencenser?
Well, to be honest with you, the Japanese were really tough masters. They never hesitated to punish you and work you hard, and if you didn't like it, they said go home. You're here to train, and those people that didn't train hard remained in the same grade, or they got demoted. So Goldencenser didn't pull any punches as such. You came to Japan to train, he expected you to do that. I used to train 8 hours a day, sometimes more. I never lost a single day in Japan. I continuously trained. I was very intense. I wanted to qualify. I wanted to achieve the highest I could, which I did.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your teacher, Goshin Kan Sensei, and how he has helped mold who you are today?
I see Goldencenser as an exemplary teacher. Not only his ability in the martial arts itself, but as a person. He had, great qualities, great sense of humor, very serious in spirituality. I think from the time I met him, his interest in life was more about spirituality. It was about the journey of the soul. He believed that life doesn't start at birth and end at death. He thought that life was beyond all of this and that we have come on a journey. As a matter of fact, once he held a rock and he said to me, he says, "This rock has life." And I believe that Goldencenser had rocks. We laugh at people saying they have pet rocks, but Goldencenser had a pet rock. When Goldencenser passed away, his family gave me a vase made out of rock.
That obviously means a lot to you, and you still keep it close to your heart.
Absolutely, and I'll be happy to show it to you.
That'd be fantastic.
It comes in a special container, which I'll open. I very seldom open this, so you have an opportunity now of seeing this amazing. This is a vase.
My goodness. Wow. Oh, that's a bit heavier too. It's not like, wow. That would have taken some time creating.
Yeah, so,
wow.
very few people in the world have got tokens from Goldencenser, and I've been very lucky in that I have these memorabilia. I've got his kimono, and I've got lots of other things, that...
I think our viewers today are also very lucky to have been able to see that. So thank you for sharing that with us. Can I ask you about Goshin Kan Karate? And can you sort of explain to our viewers how that differs and what the symbol of the fist means?
Yeah, very interesting question, Sabakul. I believe that the fist is a symbol of goodness. How do I get to that goodness? I believe that in order to develop the character, we need to have some values. So I've used the 5 human values, which is truth, love, peace, right conduct, and non-violence. So this makes the complete fist. If you live your life of truth, of love and of peace, right conduct and non-violence, you don't have to look to any other teaching, because that will develop you into a proper human being.
Fantastic, thank you. Kancha, some of our viewers may have not heard of Goshin Kan's smart defense.
Right.
Can you explain to us where and for whom this originated for and what it involves?
The smart defense, well, I've done lots of different styles of martial arts at the college. I've associated people with different forms of martial arts, and so I've created an art form called smart defense, especially for women, business leaders and so on, where they don't have to do push-ups and sit-ups and squats and any of the heavy exercises. Just simple techniques of being able to protect themselves when somebody grabs them or holds them or chokes them, or pull their handbag or any form of attack. So the smart defense, which is what's it called? Simple methods and reliable techniques. So I've created this. It's very simple, it's reliable, and it's easy for people to do.
Fantastic. Would it be fair to say that traditional martial arts, such as Goshin Kan, is a way of life rather than just a form of fitness, discipline, and self-defense?
Yeah, absolutely. Goshin Kan Karate is about life. It's about being a good person. It's about understanding life, understanding the environment around you, understanding people, understanding nature. It is more than punching, kicking, striking, or blocking. become peaceful towards everything. You know, as a matter of fact, I would say to you that a simple thing that I do in the dojo is sometimes you find these bull ants on the floor. I would grab it gently and I'll put it outside. And the students, the kids have been watching me do this, and they began to do that themselves. So they respect that insect. You know, people shudder when they see a cockroach. I won't kill the cockroach. You know, at home, for instance, you know, people want to get this race and kill it. I would say rather, I'll take it, I grab it, and I'll leave it in its environment. So I like to develop this non-violence towards creatures and insects because they have a place in this universe as well. You know, so I believe that I have a place, they have a place, and we need to take care of everything. We can't control life. We don't have the power to control life. Nature has the power to control life, so I believe we need to respect everything. We need to respect the plants and the insects and everything that makes up this universe.
Kancho, you're a very humble man and a very honest man, and the way you teach your Goshin Kan classes show you live as you teach. There's no doubt about that. But Goshin Kan is not the only way that you are trying to help our society. There are lots of different ways to make it a safer and better place. Can you talk to our viewers a little bit about Sanctuary 108, its purpose and the team that you have involved?
Thank you for the question. I think, you know, I have a great concern for people that suffer. And, you know, for many years now I've been thinking about those people that go through depression. A lot of people have taken their lives, especially the young people, and I feel compassionate. I feel saddened by it. So I got the students together at Goshin Kan, all the head teachers, and I discussed that we need to do something. We need to create an organization where we can help people with depression. You know, create opportunities so that we can refer them to counselors and clinical psychologists and so on, and run a free service. So Sanctuary 108 is created for that purpose. So whoever goes to depression, whoever is traumatized in life, whoever has anxiety or stress, we can assist them to have a better life, a life that is less traumatic. I think every situation can be solved. I think depression is a treatable disease. So, you know, you don't need, you know, I think if we listen more to what people have to say, you know, pay attention to what they say, have ears to listen, you know, have a mouth to acknowledge things and say, I love you, or, you know, I am here for you, things like that. You know, people will feel some kind of support and their lives will change. So Sanctuary 108 is about making this planet a better place.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kancho. That brings us to the end of our time together here this evening. I thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your story, for being so open and honest with your responses, and for giving us the opportunity to listen, to hear, and to, I guess, to better understand Goshin Kan Karate, smart defense, and Sanctuary 108 and what it offers for us, the community, ultimately as well. For our viewers, I hope you've enjoyed listening to the beginnings and the experiences of Goshin Kan Karate founder Kancho Deena Naidu. If you'd like to hear more about Goshin Kan, Smart Defense, or Sanctuary 108, you can certainly visit the web pages or contact Kancho directly, or better yet, if you're able to, come and visit us at one of our schools. All the details will be on the web page at the end of this interview. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Lovely.